I like awkwardly staring at people. Hey there, it's me, and I made a dress of the French Maid variety. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that I will be posting another video later on this week or next week talking about other stuff that happened this month, just to give you a little inside scoop. But for now, let's make a dress.
And here we are, in a car, in a parking lot. Random, awkward, awesome. I'm going to step into Joanne's and I'm going to do my first public vlogging. I'm going to try to hide my phone most of the time, but this is what vloggers do, right? So let's go. Walking to the store, walking to the store. This doesn't feel weird, we're walking to the store.
Joanne's, the land of shiny, colorful, lacy, fluffy. Oh my gosh, I want it all. Here's a black lace, just a tad too big and bold with the details. And oh my gosh, it looks like mermaid scales. It's so shiny. I finally narrowed it down to two choices, both floral. On this one, the netting is a bit too big, but I like the scalloped edge. This one is fine and delicate, and oh my gosh, the sequins change colors now. Fluffy. So, here's the thing. I was looking through my stuff to find the pattern that I wanted. I'm like, the design I want is pretty similar to this pattern. I don't want to complicate things. I don't want to try to mix stuff up. I mix this pattern, make it easy. Right? Wrong. Very wrong. I have all the other pattern pieces for the package, except the pieces that I need. So, here's the complicated solution. I have this dress. The first dress I ever made, one of the first builds I ever made. I'm going to take apart this dress, use it for pattern pieces, and then we'll see what happens. Yay! Like I said before, this was the first dress that I ever made. I spent all this time and energy into it to make sure that it fit just right, and I was just undoing all of that work. But for this, I needed the pattern pieces, and I wasn't going to buy something that I still have somewhere. What is going on? And now comes the tedious preparation of tracing the pattern pieces so that I can have a pattern which I can then trace onto a mock-up, which I can then trace onto the fabric so that I can then actually make the project. Okay, God is amazing. So, hi Lily. Hi Loki. So, I just wrote a song. Let me explain. Because of work and everything, I don't really often get to start my day with a devotional and just spend time with God and everything, but today I did, and I didn't even like decide to make it. The Holy Spirit just gave me a song, and I'm like starting to write it down. I'm like, okay, I have to write down this first line, and then I'm like, well, I have to find a rhyme for this, and then I have to have a bridge, and I wrote the bare bones of a song. It's kind of repetitive for now, basically just to really solidify the basic melody, I guess, that I want, and then I'll change it up and do things, but I'm just so excited. It's really cool because I was just talking to a friend like, you know, oh yeah, I used to want to try songwriting and stuff, but it was all very like, not ballads exactly, but slower pace and everything. This has a bit of a higher tempo and has more of a beat, and I'm like impressed, like it sounds good. I'm like, did I like subconsciously steal the melody from something? I don't know. I think also this month while I work on the dress, I'm gonna write a song because I didn't really get to do the piano challenge the way I wanted to because I just didn't have enough time, / maybe I didn't give myself enough time. I don't know if I'll be able to like have it ready by the end of this month, but that's something that I'm really excited about and I want to work on. So yeah, when you give something to God and it's within His timing and His will, He's gonna give you something that you could never imagine. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this song. I've been thinking about it a lot and I have some more ideas for it, but I haven't actually sat down and worked on it because of the play and making the dress and everything. But it's something I'm still looking forward to working on. And now, back to the dress. And here's where things get interesting. I finally have all my pattern pieces, but I'm going to modify this because this is a cap sleeve. It pretty much just comes up to here. I want it to kind of poof up a little bit and then close down, you know, mid-bicep. I'm gonna add 3 inches, kind of taper it down maybe a little bit. No, I'm not. Leave it straight so I can gather at the end. So, as if I didn't make things complicated enough, I'm going to modify the sleeve and hope that it fits. Yay! As annoying as it is to add in yet another step, mock-ups are very important. A mock-up is when you take a cheap fabric like muslin and basically you make a rough draft. From this you can see where maybe you need to take something in, you may need to adjust a piece. My fault in this is that I always go, oh, I trust the pattern, it'll be just fine, I can tweak it here and there. One time I did this with a corset, and even though I looked at all the measurements, made sure that I was following the right size of the pattern, it was too big in areas and then it was too small. The fun part about that is that I got to be creative and make a patch, and if you look closely you can see where I had to add on a few inches so that I can make it long enough. When you just want to make a piece and then you put them together and then you realize it doesn't fit, you have to take it apart, more seam ripping, and it just takes up time that you do not have. So I'm very thankful that I made a mock-up because, as you'll see, it didn't quite fit. Finally, I'm tracing and cutting out the pieces so I can sew it together and form a dress. I have a swooshy skirt! Okay, I figured out what's going on with the sleeve. So basically on the bodice, it comes to a point, and then there isn't really much of an armhole. There isn't a band for the sleeve, it just exists. So I'm thinking, okay, the sleeve mock-up that I made, it isn't fitting. I'm gonna have to get a sleeve from another pattern, try to Frankenstein it, make it fit, and I wasn't having that. So I revisited it. I made it too big in the wrong area. So if I just do this and make it longer, like I was trying to before, it should work. And with that, Brianna went back to the cutting board, making sure that she traced everything correctly, putting in the extra inches in the right areas, measuring, remeasuring, pinning, and placing, and finally, we have the sleeve. The only question now is, does it fit? It's like it was such a simple thing, but knowing that I can do this and make it work, oh my gosh, yes! So let me show you how I was getting tripped up. I thought that these two pieces needed to join, but I also knew that some of the sleeve had to make up part of the neck, but I just wasn't connecting it. I started with the inner seam. I'm making my way around downtown, walking fast until I get to the neckline, and you can see here on the back, this is where the back ends, but the sleeve keeps going for a little bit. So that's what I need to do. And oh my gosh, this is gorgeous with white sleeves. Not changing the design, not changing the design, not changing the design. Okay, now I can actually use the fabric and actually start making this dress. Again, I did make the bodice, I made the skirt. That's another thing. Okay. The other thing I'm trying to figure out is if I want the lace to go over the skirt as an overlay or to kind of fuse it onto the base. If I were just to make a separate skirt and kind of just pin it at the hem, it would kind of gather on its own. The thing is with this lace is when it's together, the netting is pretty fine. I feel like it would just look too much, like the texture would be really off. Now, if I put it just against it, I feel like you get more of the pattern, it'd be more simpler, and it wouldn't look too messy. So I think to do that, I might have to take apart the panels, sew the lace onto each panel, and then put all the panels back together. It's just a line. It isn't too difficult. It's just, you know, I always hate doing something and then taking apart. It takes time, and I just want to get going on this project, but I want it to look good, so I'm willing to take it apart and go back and do this right. And with not exaggerating hours of preparation, I finally can make the sleeve. Whoa. Blame the cat. Always blame the cat. He knows, run away, run away! And now comes the more challenging part. I do this for the vlog. Now I need to trace over the lace, and how do you trace a massive artistic holes? Let's find out. There are some things we gotta iron out. As soon as I said that, my brother popped out and he said, "Did you seriously just make an ironing joke?" So she's assembled, but the real question is, does it fit? And that's a question that always it fits! At least I hope it does. I don't have the zipper in yet. But the sleeves fit! Again, I must take something apart to put it back together, but I'm really happy with the results, so it was worth it. And finally, I can continue and go on to the fun part. Lace trim. Honestly, I felt like I was in a Jane Eyre novel when I was going through and looking at all the lace, thinking I was Elizabeth Bennet getting ready for the ball. Mr. Wickham. Oh yeah, nothing's more fun than taking a hot steaming iron to very tiny hem, but ironing something before you stitch it down, it actually helps. I really had fun with this detail. I was basically building up a lace applique by taking the lace and layering it up on each other. Like if you were to create a portrait of someone on a typewriter and you had to create the characters but line it up perfectly so it creates an image. I was just making a triangle, but you know, you gotta start somewhere. Oh, this dress is really coming together. I'm so excited. It's so cool to see something that you imagine and design and see it come out, but at the same time, it is also cool to see the challenges that you come along and the creative solutions that you have, and it just makes it more of your own. So this is so cool. So anyway, we're moving on to the hem of the skirt, and instead of making the hem and rolling it over, ironing it, and then putting on the lace, I think I want the lace part to come out from the bottom so it looks like there's an underskirt, and also finish off the hem and make things just easier for me. So I'm going to pin it up so it comes up like this, and then I'm just gonna iron it, flip it over, so that you see the raw edge of the beginning lace is gonna come from underneath the skirt. So it gives that illusion, the magic of fashion. Look who's on my floor. It's a bub. Hey puppy. I'm having the bodice to the skirt, and then I'll finally have a dress. But first, I ran into a little bit of an issue. I was trying to line it up. I had a little bit of extra fabric in the front, so what I did is I created another dart. Hopefully that will just add a little bit of a pinstripe, something to the bodice. Maybe that will help it actually with its shape. But it's weird because I don't think I had to do that with the first dress, so I don't know if I accidentally made something a little bit bigger, or maybe this won't fit. I don't know, but let's find out. So here's what I'm thinking. I take the width that I need from here, I divide it in half and insert it into the side panels just beyond from the armhole. Just add it in here when I need, and then let it taper out a bit. That'll give the skirt a little bit more swoosh, and then having that add up will bring this together. And we'll see what happens. The only thing with that is that this is all one piece. That means I would need to cut the hem here and then stitch on by hand the hem to let it continue. Which is okay, it's more work than I wanted. I just want the dress, but I can't wear it otherwise, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, here's what I don't understand. The skirt from the dress, it fits comfortably. And that skirt, when I first put it on, it fit, but now it doesn't. And I rechecked the measurements on my dress form. They're exact. So, did I do something wrong? Maybe I made the seams too big? Must be. In fact, instead of making new panels, I'm just gonna measure what I need and take it away from the seam allowance of each panel. I like it when my brain works. I still have to take apart all the work I've done today and more, but it must be done. So I took apart the dress, I put it back together, and now what was the problem? Oh yeah, the skirt. The skirt fits just fine. And also, I didn't have to do that weird tuck thing on the bodice, so I was able to kind of ease that in so it all fits. The thing is, now I have no problem. The darts on the top, on the dress form, it fit just fine, but on me, for some reason, they're just a little bit too high. I don't know why, but sometimes, like when I made this dress before, I had that same problem. That's the thing with patterns, is that it isn't to your specific body type, so that's why keep trying things on, make sure that it fits so you don't have to keep undoing things. Like I do. This is a little bit too high up. The waist, it kind of sits just underneath my rib cage, so I'm going to, thankfully, with all this extra seam allowance, shorten that so I can bring that down a bit, and hopefully it'll fit just fine, and hopefully I can actually have a dress. And after 3 or 4 times of taking this apart, I finally have a dress. All I have to do is put in the zipper, and it'll be done. It'll be over. And I'll be so happy when I wear it. I did also pattern a pattern by tracing over an apron that I had to make a Maid apron. Yay, I made fabric lasagna! Put some lace on it, and I also dressed up a headband to make it look like a Maid headpiece. Yes, I finally have the dress. It was a process, a lot of other challenges that I wasn't expecting and some setbacks, but it's what made it all worth it. I'm very, very happy with the result. That was my challenge for March. Thank you so much for coming along with me. If you'd like to hear about some other challenges I encountered this month, go ahead and click that little eye. It will take you to another video, and it will also tell you what my challenge will be for April. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next month. Bye!